Okay, so in the scope of this particular video, we are going to do the linear regression and quantifying the significance of the slope. Okay, so the data you can see, has been copied from the class note, and then all the relevant formulas are also I try to synthesize in this particular case, and also I bring the T table here. Okay, so one by one we can start. So first we need to calculate the X bar, which is the average of all the X values. So which will be like the average, okay, average, and then we are going to do the average of all of those, and then this basically shows the average of all of those things, and then if we just drag to the right, then it is going to show the average of all the Y values. Then what we are going to do is X minus X bar. So that means, okay, we are going to say this minus this particular one, but I'm going to put a dollar sign here so that once we drag the formula, it doesn't change the location, especially for the X bar. So once we do this, we can test it, and then you can easily see that these things basically this one minus the X bar. Okay, so this is done. Then what we're going to do is the Y bar minus, YI minus Y bar, which is this value minus, okay, this one, and then we need to insert a dollar sign here. So once we do that, then we are going to drag the same way we did previously. And then we are going to check whether it is right or not. You can see this minus this. Okay, so we are done for this. So then we are basically multiplying these two. So that is very simple. So this time the next one, and then we are going to drag it at the end of all of the columns. Then xi minus x bar whole square, that means this one we are going to make a square. Okay, so this times again this particular value. So by that way, we made it already square. So we are basically going to drag it down. So now we need to make the summation for all of them, which is basically this value, and then we also need to sum all of them in order to generate this particular magnitude. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use sum, and then I'm going to sum all of them, and then once we drag this cell to the right, so then the right is going to summarize these particular things. So if you look very closely, then all of the entities within the M and C which already calculated. So now we like to calculate M. So M is okay, simply like, okay, the summation of this particular one divided by this. So that means, okay, this one divided by 110, that means this particular summation. So that means here our slope we get is minus 7.71. And C, what we can get is Y bar, which is this one, minus M. M is the value we calculated, times the X bar, which is 6. So the slope and intercept we already calculated using this. Now we need to calculate our y hat. Y hat is basically predicted one. So what happens is we are going to take this X and then this M and C, these three together in order to make the y hat. So how we are going to do it? So we are going to say first is, okay, this slope, and then definitely we don't need to change every time. So that's why I put a dollar sign times this first one plus the C, which is 513. So this is the first one, and then once I'm dragging down, then I'm basically doing all of the y hat individually. Okay, and then if you click this one, then you can see, oh, by the way, I did a simple mistake here. So I don't need to change this slope again and again. So I forgot to add a dollar sign. So once I do this, and then once I do that way, then I can drag it down. And then once I click the last one, I can see that the values it is taking this M, which is H3 times this one, which is B13 plus this particular value, which is our intercept. Okay. Now we are going to do individual yi. So that means this one minus this, and then we are going to do the square. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say this one minus pi hat, and then I'm going to say square. So once we do that, then I'm going to drag down everything, and then this is basically our individual values. And then I'm going to, in order to generate this, I'm going to sum all of them. So then I'm going to make a sum, and then we are going to do something like this. Okay. And now, once we are up to this particular point, then what we need to do is we need to calculate first is SE, because without SE calculated, we can't calculate the, the T calculated values. So in order to do that, so SE, so the values, if you look, so what happens is we need to also look into N. N means the total number of values here. So total number of values over here is 11. Okay, data points are here. So that means 9 minus 2 will be, 11 minus 2 will be 9. So if that is the case, then we are going to say square root, and then we are going to say, this summation, and then divided by 9. So by that way, our upper part of SE is done. Then divided by SQRT, that means square root of, okay, summation of xi minus x bar. So which we already been calculated, which is, okay, this particular cell in particular. Okay, so we calculated the AC as 7.03, and then the T calculated value will be what? Like M is our slope, which is this, divided by SE. So by that way, this calculated value is minus 1.09, and then we need to do the magnitude. So magnitude of this particular value. So then I think I did something wrong. So hang on. Okay, so it will be absolute, if I'm not mistaken, abs, that means absolute value of this particular one, which will return like 1.09. So now we know that our N minus 2, that was 9. So that means, okay, over here, if you look 9, and then we try to see where is this 1.09 met. So 1.09, you can see that, okay, over here, 1.1 and 8.83. So that means, okay, at least our, if it is 2 tail, if we consider, then, at least, okay, our value will meet T.80. Okay. So now there is another way. So what we can do is, whether these things are right or not, we can do a simple calculation like this. So if you go to your data analysis here, which you can find in any of the Excels, then click on regression and then click OK. And then the first things what you need to do is you need to define your y range, so which is this one here, y value. Then what you're going to do is you're going to define your x, which is this, and then you have to say the output range here, and then you also need to define where is your output you like to store. So let's say here is the location, and then click here, and then eventually hit OK. So here the regression analysis, everything is here. So over here, some of the things like the T statistics, which you calculated for X, that means this is your slope, which is minus 1.09. And your calculation manually is also 1.09. So that means you did completely right. And then in terms of your, the slope, what happens is you see X variable, which is your slope, like, okay, minus 7.71. So this is your M, and C is 513. And then if you look over here, M and C value, you also have, got the right one. So by that way, you can easily make sure that your calculation and everything is completely fine. So thank you very much for watching this video.